It's time for another episode of the Tech Informist Podcast. Let's begin. I'm Kevin.
I'm Brad.
And on this episode, we are going to be talking about E3.
Microsoft unveils a new keyboard.
And a couple stories about Netflix. Welcome back, everybody. And welcome back, Brad. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
I see you didn't get a sunburn.
No, SPF 70, because I'm white and nerdy.
And it also looked like, based on your pictures, that there were quite a few clouds and wasn't as sunny as often.
Rain almost every day, except for the last day, full day there. It was blistering hot to the point to where, I was borderline getting heat exhaustion, so we dipped into a bar for about an hour and a half, kind of had some water, had some rum. I mean, why not?
Yeah. And meanwhile, back here in St. Louis, we had a beautiful week weather-wise. It was gorgeous. I was looking out like, man, it sucks that you got to go all the way down to Florida thinking you're going to get this beautiful weather, and yet back home is when you're having perfect weather.
In quotations, beautiful, as in it was hotter here than it was in Florida. I'm good.
But even though it was hotter here, it was still only in like the 70s and low 80s maybe on some days. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful week. My wife and my dad, they got the deck stained because I got way too much going on. I don't have time to be staining and stuff like that.
Right.
Doing deck work? No. But I do love working outside.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Yeah, I do. I do. I really do enjoy it. It actually makes me feel accomplished, like I'm doing something because you can see a physical result. It's like, yeah.
So like when I play Minecraft.
Yes, as opposed to, hey, I beat a new level, or I won a game against the computer, or an online opponent in Madden or NHL 17 or something. Totally different.
Yeah, I don't have a house to constantly keep doing little updates on and do things like that yet.
You've got a phone number for that.
Yes, I do. And boy, do I love that phone number when it's this time of year. Oh.
Yes, definitely. Speaking of gaming, like we were just talking about, we are going to be talking about E3 because that was pretty much the huge news this week to me. Just like last week, it was WWDC.
Yeah.
So the majority of this episode is going to be talking about what we've seen, what was announced, and kind of the feedback from all of that. From Microsoft, from Nintendo, from Sony, and all the other game companies that have their big displays and big shows and stuff like that. So you are the more, of the two of us, the bigger gamer. The one that follows the scene more than I do because
that's fair.
Time.
Yeah.
My priorities are not gaming, and you are a gamer. You have a more understanding wife when it comes to gaming.
I don't have kids.
That's another thing.
It's huge.
Big change in responsibilities and stuff like that. So it's good. But let's talk about Microsoft first, because obviously that is your pride and joy when it comes to gaming is Microsoft first.
I work for the company, so boots on the ground. No, I mean, being there and kind of being a part of it was really interesting this year.
Because you were at work on the day of the Microsoft presentation.
Right, which I probably would have been there otherwise anyway, because you know who I am.
Yeah, you want to be there and watch it, and the excitement of everybody else watching it and being excited.
Yes, exactly. So watching Project Scorpio, which is now, if you haven't heard by now, where have you been? It's Xbox One X.
Simple.
X as in X-ray. So we've sort of noticed about this over kind of walkies or trying to get things radioed in towards the back to bring up to the front to sell to the customer. It's going to be interesting because X and S, it's almost like, hey, bring me up a Scorpio, or hey, bring me up a snake. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but we almost need to come up with our own little internal banter.
Because enunciation is different for different people.
Yeah.
We all, even though we could be both born in the same city, same school, same everything, you might pronounce X, S, and could be
Pretty
two
close.
totally different things. Yeah.
Even just hearing them over the recording as you hear it in your ear holes, like X and S could be pretty similar, and it could be confusing. But I really personally like the name. It makes sense in the family of devices of what they're doing. I mean, for me, X just kind of stands for extreme. It's sort of like that Project X, like that super secret thing, or Planet X, that thing that we just don't quite know about.
And if we go back to 2001, before the original Xbox launched, the mock-ups and things, that's what it was. It was a big X.
Exactly. It was an Xbox.
Yeah.
So it sort of comes full circle, I guess. And it's interesting how this is not only the most powerful console that they have made, it is the most powerful console ever made, which is sort of our marketing thing.
That is devoted strictly for home gaming use, console gaming.
Console gaming. We're not, PC is a different thing. This is console,
Totally different beast.
Most powerful console ever made, and then it's the smallest Xbox they've ever made.
That is the most ironic aspect of this. Obviously, they just came out last year with the One S Slim, and that was much smaller than the original Xbox One.
With the power brick built in.
Exactly.
This also has the power brick built in. In fact, I believe that the intention was to use the same power cord for the S and the X. Not only does that save them cost in the factory, but if you already have an S, it's like, oh, I'll just plug it in here and I'll just put the new cord in here so I don't have to untangle everything. That's super cool. And a lot of that is due to the engineering behind this thing. Like, it is dense. It is heavier than the original Xbox One, which that thing is a monster.
And is it heavier than the One S?
Yes. It is, I believe it was around 20 grams or so heavier than the original Xbox One. Sorry. The 360 and the original OG Xbox, I'm not 100% for sure. They didn't have the weights next to those.
The OG Xbox was heavy.
Yeah.
Very.
But this one is small and it's dense. I mean, it's like a brick in a good way, I guess. A very fancy, well, it's not really colorful either, but it's a very cool looking brick.
I think eventually it's going to be colorful, and that's something else
yeah.
that they haven't announced, but they've alluded to. We'll probably have some more announcements later this year in regards to that.
Right.
Again, I mean, Microsoft, with the One S, they've gotten pretty colorful with it,
Yeah.
with a variety of different color options.
Well, and look at it this way. So when they brought out the S, there were no black colors. And it was like, that was strange because the Xbox One original was black. And then all of a sudden they abandoned that.
The original Xbox, black. Xbox 360, white.
And then the Elite was black. And then they went back to black, or back in black.
For the One.
Yeah, for the Slim of the 360. Then they went back to stayed with black for the One. Then they went back to white. Now they're going back to black.
It's all over the place. It's a mess.
It's just sort of depends on what you like. Like the Xbox One S would look fantastic right next to my tower at home. Like just standing up vertically, that would look awesome.
Right, because they're both white.
Yeah. And the One X, by the way, you can stand it vertically. It is literally like an S, but more powerful.
Right.
Much, much more powerful.
And, we've talked about the power and the specifications in the past. So there's like really nothing changed in that regard.
Kind of the biggest thing that I would say that makes it able to be the smallest kind of footprint of a console for what they've made is that vapor chamber that they made for the liquid cooling.
Right, for the cooling aspect.
And the custom centrifugal fan that they used inside, which, it's sort of like a turbocharger, not supercharger. Two completely different items. You can look those up on your own. But a turbocharger, because it sucks air into the center and then it can kind of pressurize that air and push it out to the areas that need it. And I mean, that thing can really push out some air if it needs to. And being as it's liquid cooled, I mean, if you know anything about liquid cooling on computers, it's freaking fantastic and whisper quiet.
Right. That's the big aspect of it, is that it's more efficient cooling. It's so much more quieter. Because we've all had desktop computers, laptop computers that, man, when the fans are kicked on, it's crazy loud. And the rare time that you may turn your computer off, you're like, it's eerily quiet in here right now because the computer is not on the fans. So what do you think about the price? There was a lot of talk leading up to it. Hey, it's probably going to be $399. That would be a nice sweet spot. And then it's unveiled officially for $499.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody really thought $399 or it's dead in the water. Here's the thing, though. Being the most powerful console comes with a price tag. And putting out the power that it puts out, you cannot get a PC for this. You just can't. With Windows, everything installed, including a monitor, a keyboard, a mouse, people don't always include those things. They're always like, oh, just the tower. It's like, oh, how are you gonna use that PC? Just gonna plug it into a TV? I mean, keyboard, mouse? How are you doing this? This is a self-contained unit. You plug it in, you go. That's it. And for $500, it's a steal.
Right. There's really nothing to configure except setting up your account.
Downloading updates and setting up your account.
Games
Boom.
and stuff like that.
Done. Yeah. And, I mean, that's stuff that you would have to do on a PC anyway.
Don't have to update drivers.
Nope.
Just a system update.
And that alone, not having to update those drivers, is huge, especially for as much power as this has. Sure, everybody would have loved a $399 price tag, but as it sits, they are making no money on this console. They are selling it pretty much at cost. I'm sure they're either going to be a couple bucks under or a couple bucks over. I don't have those figures because I'm not in that part of the business. I just sell them. But
best recent example to me regarding the price is the fact that how disappointed a lot of people were about the official Nintendo Switch price as opposed to what we were expecting.
Yes.
I don't think the price is hurting sales of that unit.
No, the kind of still hard to find in certain places. I hear California is very hard to find them. Here, it seems like there's been a few on the shelf here and there.
Yeah, I saw one at our local Walmart a week ago with the neon Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I'm still sort of holding out hope that they'll come out with some kind of
nice bundle that really attracts you.
That attracts that I'm like, oh, that's it. I'm getting that one. But we'll talk Nintendo in a second. I mean, overall, though, aside from just Xbox One X, I think it's a great value. I really do. Everything about it is pretty sweet, and it's not for everyone. It's for your high-end elite gamer, like the Elite controller. That's $150. You're not just going to spend $150 on a controller. That's insane, unless you're somebody like myself, and you play a lot of games, and you want that like elite experience. Then it starts to make a little more sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not for grandma's parents that are going to be buying their kid an Xbox system to play Minecraft on for Christmas.
Yeah, and if you're one of those people that is worried about having the latest and greatest, but then you don't want to spend the money on the latest and greatest, you're kind of contradicting yourself. Like, it comes at a price. It really does. And again, being the most powerful console, it's $500. And again, I think that's a steal. I will be getting one. Now, obviously, I work for Microsoft, so be that what it may, whatever. I do plan on getting one.
You were going to get one regardless.
That's true.
More than likely, you were getting one regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, you have 3 Xbox One units in your house. 2 functional.
2 functional, 1 not. But I acquired that through different means.
Right.
So,
but you've got 3.
Yeah.
Regardless.
And I can get rid of 2. Still have 2. And whenever that TV comes back in, because by the way, I got my free TV and it was broke. Go figure.
Right.
But yeah,
from a delivery driver from UPS that says, or seemed to proudly boast that 80% of the TVs that he delivers have to get picked back up because they're damaged.
Now, is that the driver or is that the company?
Head scratcher there.
Yeah, but anyhow, that's getting taken care of on a separate note. The games, though, that Microsoft kind of announced, there were some that really surprised me. And there were definitely some that I already expected. By that I mean we all knew about Crackdown 3. That's been kind of talked about. Forza Motorsport 7 has been talked about, or not talked about, but we sort of knew it was coming. It's like the Call of Duty way they announce games. So let's see, what else is in here?
One other interesting aspect that there's 4 or 5 games, I think, that are Xbox One games now that will be getting 4K upgrades. That's
Gears of War.
pretty exciting.
Gears of War is definitely getting that.
Gears of War 4, Forza Horizon 3, Killer Instinct, Halo Wars 2, and Minecraft.
Yeah, the Minecraft one is interesting.
Right, because it's like 8-bit block style kind of gaming, and
but
its visuals haven't really changed over the years.
Right, so I got a perspective on this week that I was not expecting on E3 Sunday. There were some little kids watching the press conference, and then there were some much older gentlemen, probably about my age. Now, the older guys were like, oh, well, that's silly because Minecraft's just 8-bit blocks. Like, you don't need those. But all the little kids were super excited because their game would look prettier, and there would be a better draw distance, and there would be, upgraded textures on certain things. Like, they were legitimately excited, and I'm like, there's something to this. Mm-hmm. So don't dismiss it completely. Just hang in there. Let's look at it and see it come out and see what people actually think of it when you're actually playing the game. Sea of Thieves we already knew about, but I don't believe it comes out till probably early 2018, which is sort of a bummer because I was super excited about it. But being as all the games that are coming out now, I think that's probably the perfect time for it. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a shortage of games to play on Xbox.
No.
Especially when you throw in the fact that they're adding some backwards compatibility all the way back to some original Xbox games to go along with 360 and current Xbox One games.
Which, by the way, Minecraft and Rocket League will be cross-platform with Nintendo Switch.
Woohoo!
But if you have a PlayStation, sorry, you're still stuck in your walled garden. That is a thing that Sony decided, and I still hope they change their mind. But I feel that right now they could be alienating their player base. I guess we'll see.
At least the player base that's big into Minecraft.
Yeah, I mean, so the update that is coming for Minecraft, you will be able to play on an Xbox with somebody who's on their phone, with somebody who's on their PC, with somebody who's on their Switch. Like, they will all interconnect, again, unless you're on a Sony platform. Then it's not because Microsoft's being a butthole. It's because Sony doesn't want that on their platform currently for whatever reason they come up with. That's not my department.
Which is funny because Nintendo's kind of the one that's really never been a big online
more the walled
play.
garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really locked down.
It's very fascinating, but I commend Nintendo for stepping up and being like, yeah, we definitely want that. Because they're launching a new platform. They need any help they can get, and if that means, oh, I have to sign in with my Microsoft account to use Minecraft online. Okay, you do that with Battlefront on PlayStation and Xbox right now, so on EA's servers, and I could probably go on with many other games. Elite Dangerous has its own sign-in. You actually have to sign up for it. So that's a terrible argument. Just get it out of here.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of happy to see the stuff about the Xbox backwards compatibility.
Yeah, there's some great games that I know I definitely have not played of the original Xbox. Mm-hmm. And again, game preservation, you don't realize how important this can eventually be because once things are gone, they're gone. Like, there's no way to bring them back kind of thing. So I, again, commend Microsoft for kind of trying to help preserve some of that stuff.
No, I don't think it's going to be all... It's not going to be as many games, I don't think, as they've been doing with 360 games.
No.
It's going to be more focused on...
A lot of first-party stuff.
Only on Xbox, made by Xbox,
yeah,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to... A lot of licensing issues there, but...
Hopefully MechAssault comes
I would imagine.
That would
I
be
would imagine.
fantastic. And then they also mentioned Crimson Skies. That'll be great as well.
Just wanted to mention real quick, State of Decay 2 was announced, and so was Ori and the Blind Forest sequel, which is Ori and the Will of the Wisp. So that was pretty exciting for somebody like myself, because I think it was 2014. Ori was like my game of the year.
Yeah, Ori's been around for quite a while now.
And if you have Ori now, I think you can just download the definitive edition for free now. So if you had the original and the definitives in the store, you just kind of get it, and I think it's free. I think. Don't quote me on that.
So pretty exciting stuff. Really good stuff there from Microsoft and the Xbox platform.
Yeah, I mean, mostly all that stuff we were talking I was trying to stick to exclusives because we all know Assassin's Creed coming out. We all know the Destiny's coming out. Like, those are
multi-platform games.
Right. I actually am very excited about Ubisoft's new game. It's a pirate game. It's kind of like mixing Assassin's Creed with Sea of Thieves with something else, and it looks fascinating. I don't remember if it comes out this year or not, but I'm still pretty excited about it. What can I say? I love pirate stuff.
Right. Let's hop over to Sony for a little while, because I think that might be the one we talk about not as much. Really.
Well, to be fair, they didn't really announce anything new this year other than Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. And also the Shadow of the Colossus remake, which is fantastic because that may be one of the top 5 best games on the PS2, and it just sorely needs to be brought into the modern era of gaming, whether it be textures, gameplay, or all of the above. That game needs to be played by more people. It's fantastic. So
the new God of War trailer was released, and that release date is set for early 2018. So God of War fans, it's getting closer.
Knack 2 was announced, and I believe a Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter World, was announced as well. Other than that, it was some PlayStation VR stuff, and everything else was things that we heard from last year. So
Gran Turismo Sport, that's set up for the fall.
Yep.
Which I think it's been a while since there's been a Gran Turismo game.
It's been a minute. It's definitely been a little bit. So, Elder Scrolls Skyrim VR is coming to PS4.
Oh, the Spider-Man exclusive game.
Yes.
That's going to be a PS4 exclusive, which looks fantastic.
They showed gameplay of that this time, so that was good. So, there are a few things coming. Obviously, there's more down the pipeline, and we'll probably hear much, much more about that next year. So, yeah.
The new trailer for the Uncharted spin-off, Uncharted The Lost Legacy.
I find that interesting that they're doing a spin-off.
Mm-hmm.
But the Uncharted series is a kind of a beloved series, kind of like Tomb Raider. It's that action adventure. I really like those kind of games.
Yeah, it is really, really good. I do need to get a PS4. There's so many different.
Oh, I want that gold one right now.
You would.
I know. I like all the weird colors.
As long as it's not by the gold manufacturing process, to where it doesn't make the plastic and stuff more brittle.
Oh, yeah.
I doubt Zelda carts.
Right. Yeah, I don't. That's a dead technology.
Yeah, that's old stuff there. Nintendo, I think if you were to kind of do exit polls of people that are not just die-hard fanboys of one platform or another, it seems like Nintendo had a really strong show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, first off, let's talk about the game that's on everybody's tongue, and that's Kirby. No, I'm just kidding. So they are coming out with a new Kirby game. Mm-hmm. They're coming out with a lot of the stuff's in development still, so just hang tight with Nintendo, but at least they said something. They're not leaving us out to dry. There's a new Pokemon RPG, which I'm really excited about. We don't know what it is. We just know that Game Freaks is working on it for the Switch. Rocket League is coming, which, again, cross-platform with Xbox.
And I believe it's only supposed to be about $20.
Yeah.
Roughly.
And
it looks fun.
For that console, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It really just fits with Nintendo. It really does.
I was kind of hoping to see Nintendo kind of bring back some of those Mario sports games.
Oh, they'll be
Because
back.
like Super Strikers and Super Sluggers.
They'll be back.
Those, the baseball and the hockey, for example, those, or the soccer, for example, those are fun. Oh, the soccer ones are wonderful.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Fire Emblem Warriors, a new Yoshi game is coming, and last but not least, Metroid Prime 4. Heck yes. Finally, Nintendo has listened.
Well, it's a good thing that the intern was able to get the little video put together for the presentation. That last minute, like, oh shoot, we better announce something to do with Metroid. Which one do we want to do? Prime. Okay, Prime 4. Get it together.
Go. But also, they are redoing a game which I thought they would never do, which is Metroid Prime 2: Return of Samus. And they are renaming it as Metroid Samus Returns, which I think sounds better. But, back in the day, Metroid 2, oh, it's a 2. There's a 2 in the name.
Ooh, 2.
But it will still be on a mobile platform via 3DS. It's coming out this year. I have it pre-ordered. They have amiibos coming out for it. Can you tell how excited I am?
He's got them pre-ordered.
Yeah, I spent so much money on Nintendo already, and I don't even have a Switch yet. But
isn't that something?
Yeah, how about that?
And obviously the biggest title discussed from Nintendo is Super Mario Odyssey. Release date has been revealed. It's going to be, I believe, October 27th of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So just in time for Halloween.
Yeah, it looks so weird but so fun. I can't wait to get my hands on that. Zelda.
There is so much gameplay available to watch on YouTube on the Nintendo channel right now.
Yeah.
You can watch 30-minute videos of all these different worlds.
In fact, I sat down and watched the almost hour-long gameplay of Metroid Return of Samus, and they were talking about the two of the producers of the music and the composers have been with the Metroid series since Super Metroid, and they are doing the music for not only Metroid Samus Returns, but Metroid Prime 4 and so on. So don't worry, the music's going to be good as it always is, because that music is fantastic, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Back to Mario Odyssey. It looks fantastic. It looks like a nice combination of Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxies, Mario Sunshine, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Big open world style sandbox games and stuff.
With a main hub, I believe.
New Donk City.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Pauline, the girl from Donkey Kong, who Mario was first trying to save, she's back now in Mario Odyssey.
Huh.
So that's kind of interesting. So there's going to be a Donkey Kong tie-in because, well, it's New Donk City, so Donkey Kong.
Huh.
Pauline's here. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, interesting. Mario is one of the system sellers for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Zelda's sort of the same way. For me, it's Metroid. I will have to have a Switch in the next 2 or 3 years when Metroid Prime 4 comes out. Mm-hmm. No questions asked. That has to happen.
If you don't have a Switch by the end of 2017, I'll be surprised.
I don't know. It depends. We'll see what the holiday bundles are. Yeah. I'm more kind of waiting for that stuff because I'm not in a rush right now. Destiny's getting ready to come out. That's where my time's going to be. So
true. That's the. I don't know if you'd call it a downside of being a multi-platform, just overall gaming
sorta, yeah.
fan.
No, yeah, sort of, definitely.
Because I can't play and experience everything.
You have to pick your battles. If you're in my shoes and you're starting to find that being as an older adult, you have more responsibilities otherwise, and you can't just sit down and waste a whole day of gaming like I just did yesterday. But no, joking aside, you don't play a game and not enjoy it just to get through it and play it to say you did. If you're enjoying it, enjoy it. We've talked about this before, but don't waste your time. Play the games you want to play. Don't feel like you're being left out otherwise. Just watch a walkthrough or a gameplay or something, and you still get a little bit of that experience.
Yeah, watch people play it on Twitch.
Exactly, or Mixer.
And with it being June the 16th, today is also the release date of ARMS, which I did have a chance to play on one of the test weekends a week or two ago.
How was it?
I can see it being fun. I'm just curious. I kind of felt I needed a little bit more practice before just jumping straight in online with people, because you're trying to figure out how to move and turn and punch and block and special, and you get the option to kind of equip your fighter at the beginning with each arm has a different kind of weapon or a different style.
Mm-hmm.
Can throw a projectile, can do just different things. I think it's going to be something that is really big for getting people together and joining up different switches and seeing people in public places like playing this stuff, like doing with Mario Kart.
Do you use the remote separately?
You can do the Joy-Cons, one in each hand, or you can also play with the Pro Controller.
Okay, so there's no benefit to using them separately, or is it a motion thing?
Yeah, it's a motion thing.
Oh, okay.
And I think some people are saying that it's best played with the Pro Controller, which you kind of understand, but it's kind of defeating the purpose of what the game is like, because if you're playing with the Pro Controller and your friend is playing with Joy-Cons, the person with the Pro Controller might always have an advantage. So it would kind of take out the competitive fun with that.
I would like to see Microsoft create a controller for the Nintendo Switch that breaks apart but is for people like, let's say, me and you with bigger hands. That because the Joy-Cons by themselves, they are a little small.
They're tiny, but it actually feels right.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think maybe a tad bit bigger in certain areas when you're holding them separately could benefit from. Again, Microsoft has kind of killed it when it comes to controllers, so it'd be interesting to see them make a break-apart controller like that. Because playing the Joy-Cons separate, just kind of laying there on the couch, you saw when they did that back in, what was it, January, and it was silly. Mm-hmm. But then you do it, and you're like, this is so awesome. Right. I feel so relaxed right now.
Exactly. Instead of holding it right there in your little hand.
I can have a cat in my lap and still play the game with my hands off to the side.
Right. Yeah, it's very good. So, again, it's still an exciting time to be a gamer. There's plenty of stuff coming for everybody. I still wish Xbox or Nintendo could get a nice Major League Baseball game. Again, it's still stuck to the show on PS4.
And part of that could be due to MLB. Mm-hmm. And then the other part's due to trying to start up a baseball. It's such a small subset of people that actually get that game.
Right.
Unfortunately. I hate to say
it. Yeah, it's not as big a seller as Madden.
Exactly. Or FIFA. Mm-hmm. So being as it's that small subset, it's hard to get a team together and justify the price tag that it would take to catch up with the show. So as it sits, I don't see it happening. If you need that baseball game for that itch, you just got to get a PS4 right now, unfortunately. That's just how it is. I don't know what to say.
Like I said, I kind of would like to get one.
Yeah, on different platforms other than just Sony, it'd be great. But again, justifying the price for many developers is going to be really hard, I think.
Right. Moving on, it is time to discuss a couple little stories about Netflix. And Netflix is now bigger than cable TV.
That's awesome.
That's kind of wild when you think about subscribers. You look at the different quarters, and this is coming from a Forbes article. Quarter one was like 21.41 subscribers. This is millions. So we'll just say 23 million in quarter one 2012 for Netflix, whereas cable had 52 million. And then it slowly starts getting to the point that somewhere between quarter one 2016 and quarter one 2017, they overlapped and crossed. Now Netflix has approximately almost 51 million, whereas cable is down to 48 million, which is interesting because obviously more and more people are cutting the cord as cable television is just, it's expensive.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
If you're not watching everything.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's great that the cable companies laid down all that fiber and cable and all whatever, but you can't put that price into your TV service and expect to compete with internet companies that are just going to use your pipe anyways. Mm-hmm. There's got to be a give somewhere. Otherwise, we're seeing what happened. Like Netflix is killing them right now. They have really good content, some of the best actually, mm-hmm. which is kind of incredible because when I joined back in 2010 on Netflix, and we just watched a few things.
Was that streaming?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if that was still DVD only.
We did both because we would occasionally rent a movie and then occasionally do some streaming, and eventually just to the point where it's like, we don't even rent movies that often. Let's just do streaming. Mm-hmm. And that was way when they were like below probably 20 million. So now that they're up to 50 million and they surpassed cable, if the cable company is not worried yet, they should be, because that's incredible.
Yeah, they're going to have to figure something out. I don't know if it's just going to be a pricing thing or just offering people more services. Obviously, that's one reason why AT&T now has DirecTV.
Yep.
Because DirecTV on its own wasn't really doing all that well.
And remember, we talked about net neutrality not too long ago. You can bet your bottom dollar that these guys are going to want to push net neutrality on places like Netflix and all the other internet companies out there. And that could really, really hurt the consumer, us. That could really hurt us. So when that time comes to stand up and fight for that stuff, you need to.
Right. There's really not that much that I do watch on TV that I can't watch either on Netflix, Hulu, or if I want to get a specific channel, whether it's like Showtime, HBO, whatever,
right,
or an MLB package or a football package or something like that. I mean, I can get those standalone.
I was going to say, yeah, you can get every single one of those you just mentioned standalone.
$100 and something a month cable bill,
right,
on top of my internet, on top of a Netflix subscription. Mm-hmm. When I can just have my local digital over-the-air channels, my Hulu subscription and my Netflix subscription, along with my Amazon Prime subscription, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not spending all that because out of the 5,000 channels cable TV is going to offer me, I'll watch 3, maybe 4, and watch a couple shows on each.
I hope some of those channels start teaming up with things like Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, and they become a little more available, that kind of just tack on an extra $1 a month or something. Oh, because there will come a point where they will have to do that to still maintain their viewers. Because as we can see, nobody wants that old service anymore. It's a dinosaur for a lot of people.
I know I've mentioned this on this show before, numerous times probably. A la carte. Mm-hmm. That's what cable needs to do.
Yes.
You need to allow me to pick and choose the 20 channels I want.
Yep.
For a price.
Yep.
Do that, I can think about it.
Absolutely.
But until they do, you're just going to keep losing money. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm not the only one that wants a la carte.
No, yeah, I'm right there with you. If you could do a la carte, and it would be a decent price, and because they're the one providing you the internet, you could get a discount. It all starts to make sense up here. I mean, I obviously don't see the numbers in front of us, but they got to do something because they're being passed by an internet company.
Mm-hmm. I mean, on Hulu, I don't mind the ads in front of watching an hour-long show.
No.
Because that's only 1 minute or however long an ad is.
And guess what? If you don't want those ads, you can just pay to get rid of them.
Well, there's some channels, some shows that are not included in those ad-free.
I see.
Like, for example, I know my wife watches Scandal, and that's one of them that's not included with that. But still, I know what you're saying. The majority of stuff is all ad-free. pay a little bit more, and just a handful of things you might watch have ads.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix also, it has kind of more come to light that there are limits on how many times you can download certain shows and movies to watch offline. And this has been kind of coming up as more people travel more and they go to re-download a favorite movie or a favorite TV show episode or something like that. They're finding out that there are only some limits on how many times you can download something. And of course, once you do that, you can still stream it. It's not like you no longer have access to watch it, but you cannot download it to your system. It's kind of interesting that they would do that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, they're just trying to protect everything that is they're doing. I don't know. I don't think it's a non-issue, really.
Yeah, it's like estimating 4 to 5 downloads a year
Per
movie, per TV show episode, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. So if you download it the first time anyway, like why would you need to re-download it, you know?
Well, I mean, life happens. Sometimes you might, because you only have like 48 hours once you download it to watch something.
Oh, okay.
But then again, it's like, is it really going to be the end of the world where it's like, oh, well, I guess I'll just watch it when I get back home.
Yeah.
And I can just stream it. It's not like it's going to be a life or death thing. Because again, if you're using this stuff to babysit your kids, maybe you're doing life wrong. So it's kind of a bummer. I mean, obviously, that you kind of get hyped up to, oh, yeah, I can download this, download that, blah, blah, blah. But it's not the end-all, be-all kind of thing. You get over it. You'll live. Last but not least, Microsoft has shown off a new keyboard. And Brad, I know you will probably be getting a chance to see and sell these later in 2017.
Yeah, it's a very modern keyboard. It looks very similar to the one that comes with the Surface Studio, except it has a fingerprint sensor, which is kind of in place of a button. Now, if you look at your normal keyboard in front of you, if it's a Windows keyboard, next to the spacebar, there's the Alt button. Right next to that Alt button, whatever that button is there, is where the fingerprint sensor is on this keyboard. So it's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Again, it looks really nice. Microsoft's really done really good with how they've redesigned their keyboards and mice and things like that.
I guarantee you that same button is going to show up in the next Surface Pro type cover next year. Or not next year, but whenever they come out with the next one. That will be in there. I almost guarantee it.
Right.
Because it's a cheaper solution than cutting out a piece on the board for the extra sensor, da-da-da-da-da. If they could just put it into a button and put it on the board, you're good.
Yeah, now that they've got the design down for this keyboard, they'll be able to do that in the new type covers, which would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I will definitely buy that type cover.
And speaking of price, this new keyboard is going to be approximately $130. So it's not cheap.
But in the grand scheme of keyboards, that's pretty competitive. Especially on a super nice, slick keyboard like this. Mm-hmm. And it has a fingerprint sensor built in. I don't know. That's kind of competitive still. I mean, sure, you can go get a cheaper Logitech whatever, but it probably won't be made out of metal.
Yeah. And you can use it either wired or wireless via Bluetooth. And like I said, the biggest difference is that Windows Hello enabled fingerprint sensor, which is a button. Nice little video that shows this off and just how easy it'll work.
Yeah.
Does look nice, but again, for me, I don't really use a desktop that much. But I know my use cases are different than many other people.
Well, for myself, if I'm going to spend $130, I'm getting a mechanical keyboard that I'm going to use for gaming anyway. So
right. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a gamer keyboard.
This is a business. This is
types a lot.
This is clean up the counter space at home kind of keyboard. This is
aesthetically pleasing.
Absolutely.
And it is very aesthetically pleasing. It's very Nice looking. I like that kind of slate, dark gray
Yeah.
that they've got going on there.
Yeah, it definitely is the that magnesium silver kind of that they got going on. The buttons are just a little bit darker than that.
All right, it's time for app entertainment and hardware picks. Kind of a little light here this week for this segment. But first up, I want to share a video with you about how artificial intelligence have achieved a perfect score in Miss Pac-Man on the Atari 2600.
Not just any AI, but Microsoft's AI.
Exactly. It's another aspect of this. And watching the video, which I can't remember just how long it is. It's a short watch. It goes through explaining how they were able to get the AI to master Miss Pac-Man, again, on the Atari 2600, which I showed you whenever I
It's
had
less
my
than
NES
2 minutes,
Classic
by
in
the
here.
way.
Yeah. And it was very interesting to see how they were able to do that. I was like, that's pretty cool. So it gets the maximum point value of 999,900. No person has been able to do it, at least. Not to where it could be like filmed and verified and stuff like that.
It's just watching it's incredible.
It
I
is.
mean, you got to think about it though. When a computer can make all the decisions lightning fast, it makes sense why it was able to do this. Same way with self-driving cars. Maybe a self-driving car could be better than a real person.
Yeah, imagine that. Take some of the variables out of there and everything goes. But no, it's really interesting. So we'll, again, share the link to this as well. Because it's really fun to watch. And as somebody that has played the Miss Pac-Man version on Atari 2600, it's a lot better than the Pac-Man that's available on Atari as well. That Atari
Yeah.
Pac-Man's horrible.
Right.
The Atari Miss Pac-Man's pretty good.
Yep.
Sounds better, looks better, just overall plays better.
Well, and I think that's due to it coming out later.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we kind of rushed this to get this out. Let's spend a little bit more time, and here we go. Next up, going back to Netflix, there is a fantastic documentary on Netflix called The Keepers.
Do tell. I
Now,
love
this is
documentaries.
based on a cold murder case
Oh my God, she's probably already seen this.
back in 1969 in Baltimore, Maryland, about a nun, Sister Catherine Cessnick.
Yep, she did watch it.
7 episodes, so about 7 hours long total. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy too.
It is. It is something else. Very eye-opening if your eyes were not already open to the fact that, priests used to abuse and sexually abuse and mistreat kids.
Yeah,
not all of them.
Yeah, do not misunderstand. We did not say all.
All right. There's bad apples in every bunch.
Exactly.
But the fact that the Catholic Church over the years has just kind of just swept things under the rug and just reassigned people and move them around from place to place. If you've watched the movie Spotlight, that is also, I believe, available on Netflix as well, you get a hint of what's coming. And it's still an unsolved murder, even though there's such glaring evidence for different things. And, of course, over the 40-something years later,
a lot of it would be circumstantial at this point.
Some people are deceased and stuff like that, but just watch it. It's really good. It's really well done.
Yeah, Sarah came out from watching that, and she said that it was fantastic and that she wanted me to watch it. I'm like, I don't know. I know you like all the true crime stuff, but some of that's a little too intense.
It's just sad. It's like, makes you so mad.
It does.
People.
It heats you up. It can, and it's good to understand that these things have happened in the past, so we do not repeat them. Mm-hmm. That is why history is so important, ladies and gentlemen.
Be better. Speak out. If you see something bad happening, speak out. It does nobody any good to
stay silent.
Turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
I know it's hard. People will judge you. But all you need to know is if you do the right thing, that's all that really matters in the end.
Yeah, let's be real. Everybody's going to judge you anyway on the internet as it is.
Exactly.
So might as well just turn a blind eye to them and do your own thing and do the right thing.
I know. Isn't that weird that we're more worried about what people are going to think of us if we actually do the right thing? Oh, they're a snitch, blah, blah, blah. Well, don't do anything wrong to where someone has to tell on you or rat you out.
Yeah.
And if they are going to judge you for doing the right thing, judge you badly, maybe they're not really your friends.
Agreed.
And even if they're family members, you don't have to talk to them just because they're family.
As my grandma would always say, you don't have to like them, you just got to love them.
Right. You love somebody, but you don't have to like them. You don't have to associate with them. What do you got here for us?
So I went a little exclusive beer-wise, and that's only because I just went to a bunch of theme parks where they have exclusive beers. And I might just rattle out a couple of them because I don't want to do a bunch of theme park ones in a row. But when I went to Universal, they, of course, had Duff beer, and it was made by one of the local Florida breweries.
For The Simpsons.
Yeah, it is. And I thought it was quite good, actually. It didn't receive the highest of ratings, but I think that's because a lot of people turn up their nose at a lot of just...
standard lager style?
No, not even that. It's true to style. Any true to style beer, a lot of people turn their nose up at, which I tend to gravitate more towards. I really like the true to style beers, like your pale ales, your lagers, your Marzen, IPAs, things like that, just normal... plain Jane, meh, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And the Duff beer was actually one of the better ones I had. I had another one at Universal, which was called Dragon Scale over in the Harry Potter area. That one was really good. It was a little more hoppy. The bartender had recommended me like a Boar's Head one that he said he liked more, but I still like the Dragon Scale more. I guess because I'm a hophead a little bit. But the one I think that was the best out of all of them is this one right here. Mo Ara's High Country Ale, I believe is how that's pronounced. And what is interesting about this one is it's a lager, but it's an amber lager, and like it is amber, like almost brown. But with that, you get all that really great coffee and nutty flavors. It was really good. There was a green one that they had too, and I'm pretty sure it's green due to how they brew it, not just because of dye. I'm pretty sure, not 100% for sure. And that was like Grog's Ale or something. It was it was quite a bit more hoppy. It was okay, but this one kind of just shined through because of that nutty toffee flavor, because it was a lager, because it was darker than most beer that they serve in Disney. And so I, again, gravitated towards that quite a bit. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I think I gave it a 4. Yeah, I gave it a 4. You can purchase it at the new Avatar World at Pongu Pongu. And that's where they have their alcoholic beverages, and they're delicious. And by the way, Avatar Land at Night, or Avatar World, whatever you want to call it, is pretty incredible. It's pretty sweet, with the, in quotations, bioluminescent stuff everywhere. Lots of black lights. I will say, if it's hard for you to see at night, be ill-advised going to that part of the park at night, because it is a little dim and dark-lidded, and it can be hard to see for those type of people. So not always elderly, but keep it in mind. Keep
that in mind, I guess, if you've got some visual things that you deal with.
Yeah. Aside from the beer pick, before we wrap up here, I did get a chance to meet one of my favorite YouTubers, Tim Tracker, at Universal. And it was funny because the video that he was making that day, like we were one step ahead of him, or he was one step ahead of us the whole day. Like we were almost running into each other up to the point when we actually did.
Kind of a similar itinerary for that day.
Yeah, it just
interesting.
It just happened to work out eventually, and it was pretty awesome. Again, super, super nice guy. His wife, super, super nice. And if you, I think I had him as one of our picks a couple of times because I really enjoy his videos.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've done like a video a day for like the past 8 years. So, I mean, they really vlog
Dedicated.
heavily. Yeah, and it's usually about stuff around the Orlando area. Sometimes he'll run out to NASA. Sometimes he'll run out to, is it St. James? Any of the beaches. They do quite a bit. And it was really surreal kind of meeting that person in real life. Mm-hmm. Pictures on my Instagram if you are curious. But
and maybe we'll link to the video that he released or recorded.
Yeah, that's a good
day.
idea.
That way you can kind of see some of the same stuff that Brad was seeing that same day because someone else filmed it.
Pretty much, yeah. It was, again, it was pretty surreal almost running into him. And other favorite YouTuber right now, Justin Scard, is running along the Route 66 and has basically driven by my house a few times at this point because of some of the Route 66 tie-ins, whether it be through museums and stuff that he's visiting. Mm-hmm. So basically he went from California all the way up to Chicago, and now he's working his way back. But his girlfriend flew into Chicago, I think, and she's hopping on the rental with him, and they're driving back to California now. So
nice.
It's a really cool series right now that he's doing with the Route 66 stuff. He really, really loves the open road, Route 66, just kind of that good old America that I wish we sort of were right now, but some of us claim to be, but really aren't quite. Like, people are at a different pace on Route 66 and a lot more friendly than you would imagine.
Which, speaking of Route 66, Cars 3 comes out this weekend as well.
Yes, it does.
So,
and I've been hearing that it's actually pretty good.
I've been hearing as well that it is better than Cars 2. I enjoy Cars 2, not as much as Cars 1.
Cars 1 is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's anything close to that, I would be happy.
Yeah, I would be completely thrilled as well. Mm-hmm. Nice. So it's good. I'm glad that you had some fun. Glad you made it back safely and you had a good time and all that stuff. That's good.
Yeah, we did a lot.
Yes, you did.
And all in all, we were pretty tired when we got back, but I'm glad that Sarah's been to all of the parks down there finally. We got to see quite a bit of stuff. I mean, I met Kylo Ren and BB-8 and a Velociraptor. I did some of the character meet and greets just because it was
fun stuff.
Yeah, I kind of wish I was a little more awake and quirky and could have played with it more. But I was kind of like a little bump on a log, like, I don't know what to do. I'm as a nerd.
And I think with the Kylo Ren, you weren't feeling good that day, or was that with something else?
No, I would think I was just tired.
Because one of them, I think you said, I just really wasn't feeling good at that point.
It might have been the Kylo Ren one. But yeah, I just, between being hungry or tired or rain or, it was a multitude of things, but either way, it was still cool to see.
I mean, it had to be kind of overwhelming experience because like you said, you guys did a lot.
The guy that they got to dress up as Kylo Ren was a little intimidating. I must say, he was taller than I am, and I'm 6 foot. So
it's a good thing it wasn't Adam Driver because I hear, according to reports, that he really goes into that whole deep character. He becomes the character, he kind of disassociates himself with other cast and crew members just because he's, like, in character. Mark Hamill, I think, had said, he kind of shunned me for going to lunch or dinner because, well, we're supposed to kind of be battling here in the movie, and we're having a disagreement, fallout, so just kind of poured that over into real life.
That's funny. All in all, though, it was fun, and yeah, I highly recommend going to Disney/Universal.
And when's the next trip scheduled?
2019.
When
I'm
Star
not
Wars Land
joking.
will be open?
Yeah. It'll be in the fall this time. I am not doing summer anymore. That is, my family can go and do that. I'm a fall person when nobody's there, when it's super cool out, and I can enjoy myself more.
Yep.
Because that backpack was weighing on me by the end. Which, by the way, I got some new pins too. So
yeah, that's always good. All right, folks, let us know what you thought about E3 and some of these other stories that we talked about and what you're looking most forward to in the world of video games as more and more of these things that were unveiled actually do start showing up. Mm-hmm. Always looking forward to that.
Yeah, Gamescom, I believe, is coming up in Germany in August, I think is Pretty sure. And usually there's a couple announcements during that, so kind of keep an eye out for that stuff.
Okay. And again, I do want to thank Sam Ventimiglia for joining us the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
For stepping in when I wasn't here, so
Yeah.
that's super cool.
All right. So, again, that pretty much does it for this episode. I don't really know what else to say other than thank you for listening. And until we talk again next time, consider yourself informed. We're out.
Game on.